Hi everybody, this is Leah of seejanedrill. Now what you're looking at are 3 drywall tools. This is a drywall saw, this is a keyhole saw, and this is just a utility knife. Now when you're working with drywall, there's one tool that you have to have no matter what, and that is a utility knife. You could actually go without using a keyhole saw or a drywall saw, but you have to have this. Now what I will tell you is there are power tools that you can use to cut drywall, but it really is unnecessary, especially if you're a DIY-er. In today's video, I want to show you how to cut drywall effortlessly, cut it, and also cut into it. Cut out squares and circles. I want to show you how easy it is just using manual tools. So we're going to start off with the most essential yet most simple drywall tool, and that's our utility knife. Now, what I will tell you is this is a mistake that many people make, and that is what they do is they take a utility knife and they look at that razor and they say, wow, that's pretty sharp. I can cut through that drywall like butter. And the truth is you cannot cut through this drywall like butter, because this drywall, it goes by another name, sheet rock. It's a rock. Okay, we're going to make just a simple cut. I've already marked the drywall where I'm going to cut it along. What I will tell you is you always cut on the face side of the drywall, this side here. And the reason for that is you're going to get a nice, sharp, clean cut if you do it that way. So let's take our utility knife, and all we want to do is score the paper. That's it. So I'm going to start at the end here. And like I said, we're just scoring the paper. This knife is sharp. We're just breaking the paper, taking our time. All right, follow the line. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the drywall's weight to help snap it. All right, so I'm going to pull it to the edge of this table. And if you're working with larger pieces, you'll be able to put your knee into it, okay? It all depends on how big the piece is. We're working on a very small piece. Pull it to the edge of the table and snap it like that. That's it. That's all it takes. Now what we do is we flip it over like this. Cardboard side. See that crease there? We got a crease right there. And that crease is going to be a line for us to follow with our utility knife. It's pretty quick. It's just one quick motion, just like this, and done. So that's our straight cut, okay? But what happens when you got to make a cut inside an existing wall, or you need to make an inner cut on a piece of drywall you're going to hang, like for a light receptacle, or sometimes you've got a switch or an outlet receptacle you need to cut. And sometimes you need to cut an area that's much bigger for maybe a vent. I want to show you what tools you need to use to make those cuts. To do a circle, you'll definitely want a keyhole saw. That's what this is here. Now it's pretty rigid. You know, it's not as flexible as you would think, okay? It's rigid, and it's rigid for a reason. We're going to use this point to get us started. So you're going to want to start inside the circle. Don't start on the line. Don't start on the outside of the line. Start inside the circle. So the way you do it is you take your keyhole saw like that and you push forward, okay, till you puncture the paper, and then you just twist back and forth. That's it, until you're able to cut through it. There we go. Okay, so we've made our line. Can you see why it's important not to start on the line? You want to start inside the circle and not outside the circle. Now we're going to take our keyhole saw and we're going to start following the circle, okay? Now I'm going to make a straight cut across, and I'm going to start my curve. Do not worry about this line here. We're going to be able to clean it up with a utility knife. And then what you do is just take your time, cut around, following the pencil line. Now I want to say this, little short cuts like that give you more control, believe it or not, to make that turn. Okay, so we've got most of our circle cut out, but we got to take care of this. And the way we do that is, I'm going to score it first with the utility knife, just like this. I'm going to follow that line. Now, I'm not going to be able to break that out by hand. I'll tell you that right now. That's too small a piece to try to snap. There's not enough there to really grab hold of. And if I were to do that, I might destroy the drywall here. So at this point, I've got room now, okay, because my circle is out. I've got room for my keyhole saw. I can start right there at the edge and just follow it around. So that's it, folks. Now, if you want to clean the edges up, you can. You can always take a utility knife and just clean your edges up. So we've got a rectangle scored all the way around with our utility knife. But what makes a rectangle different than a circle is you only have to cut 3 lines. We're going to use our keyhole saw to cut here, here, and across the bottom. Just like the circle, we want to start with our keyhole saw inside, okay? And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a point here, and I'm going to push and twist. And there we go. Now I'm going to follow this line. Okay, I've got my 2 lines cut here. Now all I have to do is go across the bottom. So I've made my 3 cuts. All I have to do is push in like this, and that's it. So that's it. We've got our circle and we've got our rectangle. And again, you can clean up that edge with the utility knife if you want to, but that's really fine. Now, when we talk about bigger rectangles or squares like this one right here, you can use a keyhole saw for it, but you'll be cutting a very long time. And this is where a drywall saw comes in. Now, if you notice, the teeth of a drywall saw, very aggressive. Nothing like that keyhole saw. You know, keyhole saws have very fine teeth, but drywall saws, that looks like a shark's tooth, okay? And I gotta tell you, it's gonna cut very quickly. Now I'm gonna cut this bigger rectangle out to show you how it's done. And tell you the truth, even this is kind of tiny for a drywall saw, but we're gonna give it a shot, okay? Now, what makes using a drywall saw a little different is you don't find a point in the inside of the square or rectangle and twist. You don't do that. You use this tooth, that first tooth right there, to score a line. So you want to do up and down, till it's taking bigger and bigger bites, right? There we go. That's it. Took us a lot less time to make a big long cut than it did with a keyhole saw. So that's it. We've got all sides cut. All right, I scored across the top. Now all I have to do is snap it out. That's it. I'm going to take a knife and I'm just going to cut across the top of it, just like that. And that's it, folks. This is Leah saying you can do this. See you next time.